All right, and if I did everything correctly, we should be live. I hope.
Live from New York, it's Saturday Night Live!
All right. So, hello there, everyone, and welcome to Ball and Plays Superman tier list ranking discussion, whatever we're calling this. Joined with me,
Probably that.
joined with me in the Ball and Plays BallPark Discord server, which you can join in the description. If just saying, I have with me.
I'm cuspy. I'm the cuspiest cuspy you'll ever meet. And I like red, and I like curly hair.
So, we may or may not have other guests joining us in and out, but for now, it's us two, which is great because that means there's only one person I need to validate my opinions to.
Sure thing, Ballin, sure thing.
Look, all I'm saying is that if there was like 5 people in here, then everyone would be like, "Oh, Ballin, you're wrong," and I'd have to be like, "No, I'm not."
Ballin on the controversy podcast.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, you didn't like a movie I liked.
All right. So, let me see. How do I? Oh, there you go. That's how I do that. All right. So while, excuse me, sorry, my throat is a little bit dry right now. I have with me a refreshment, and I also have ice cream. Superman ice cream, by the way. Just saying, very fitting. So while I refresh myself and also pass around the link, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
My name's Cuspy, spelt with a silent P just to confuse people. I like video games, I like media, I like happy things. That's why I like Superman. I play video games, I like to watch Pretty Cure. I do the Fortnite dances because I think they're funny sometimes. And I scream a lot. You'll never exactly know when it's coming, but when it's coming, you'll know.
So what I'm hearing is I should be prepared to turn your audio down at any moment.
Honestly, probably.
All right then. So, the way this is going to work is essentially we're going to go ahead and rank the different Superman movies, both live action and animated. We're going to go down the line in order, and as we go through them, I'm actually going to go ahead and first place them in the tier list myself, one at a time. And then after I place them, I'm going to explain why I placed it where I did, and then Cuspy and any other guests that join in will have a chance to rebuttal or agree. And they'll get to say why they rebuttal or agree. And if they're able to convince me to move it, I might move it. If they're not able to convince me, then I say,
Because
ha ha, you're wrong. And we move on.
I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am.
All right. So, let's go ahead and let me see. Let me share my screen for you so that you can see on
Yay! I can
Discord.
see. I want to see the. Let's see the content.
All right. And hopefully if I did that correctly, then I did not do that correctly. I messed up my OBS. That's fine. I can fix this
Oh
very
dang.
quickly. It's fine. I should have realized this would have
Okay.
happened, but it's okay. I know how to fix this. I figured it out beforehand, so now I feel super smart when I do this. All I gotta do is
Okay,
just
cool.
move that a
Because I
little
will
bit.
say, I will definitely have more to say on the more modern stuff because that's just what I have the most experience with.
Mm-hmm. Then move this
But
down
I
like
can I
that.
can go on for hours about the modern stuff, whether it be like why doesn't I wish my Adventures with Superman had a movie.
Then I move you up this way, and there we go. All fixed. Ish. Oh no, I messed that up now. There we go. All fixed. Ish. Totally a professional, guys. There we go. So, whenever anyone joins in the chat, I'm gonna have to keep doing that. I'm gonna have to keep adjusting the OBS just because.
Oh, that's gonna be fun for you.
Look, there was there's an easier way to do this if I had set it up properly, but I didn't know how to set it up properly, and I watched a YouTube tutorial and it gave me a headache, so I just did this instead.
Fair enough. I don't like YouTube tutorials either.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started then. Um, so first up we have Superman the movie, the original Donner movie, and I've got to say, I think I think I'm gonna place it in A tier. So the reason I place it in A is because to me, I think this is it's a solid movie. You know, it's a very good introduction to Superman. It's a very strong start to the character and kind of a good way to learn about the character's origins, a good first impression for people that might not be familiar. Um, and I also think what it does really well is it's a good, accurate representation of Superman for the times. You know, in the movies, he doesn't really do a lot of fighting. He doesn't really like stop a lot of villains. He just kind of does small things. He does small scale acts of heroism. And Luthor's the villain of it, but his plan is basically just, I'm gonna make an earthquake to sink California. Which, I mean, I take that offensively, considering I am a Californian. But bias aside,
Yeah,
it's
I was
like,
about to say, like, God dang, Lex Luthor.
you know, he has a plan, but it's just like it's a very cartoonish, over the top. Oh, I'm gonna sink California and then make a bunch of money. Like, you know, that's who he was at the time. At the time, he was just like a funny billionaire. So I think it's a great
This is why
representation of
later
Superman for
on
the
you're gonna
time.
be.
Mm-hmm.
This is why later on Lex Luthor's gonna be portrayed by John Cryer from Two and a Half Men.
Yeah, so I think it's a great representation of Superman for the time. I think it does very good at establishing the character. I think it has a lot of heart and fun to it, and I just think it's a solid film. I put it in A tier. I don't put it in S because I don't think it's like super standout. I don't think it does anything spectacular or just like blow you away, but it's solid in pretty much every department. I don't have much to complain about. Yeah, it's kind of cheesy and goofy, but that was Superman at the time. And yeah, the effects are pretty rough, but that was Superman at the time, and that was also just movies at the time. They didn't have budgets. But yeah, so there you go. That's why I put it in A tier. So you can either agree or rebuttal.
I agree
Okay.
because ultimately, I think this is a very like kind-hearted movie. It very much speaks to what I see in Superman as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And I just generally really appreciate the tone of it. And it feels very like, for a lack of a better term, it feels like very Spider-Man, like friendly neighborhood stuff.
Okay.
Like it's like the beginning scene in Homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, where Spider-Man's just out there being like, "Is this anybody's bike?" It reads like that.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I definitely agree. You know, it is very just like um, small scale, down to earth, just like really good at showcasing Superman as just like a community hero. Like he's there for Metropolis and he helps the people of Metropolis, and then he also saved California.
Yeah.
Thank you for making it so I don't
And
have to live underwater.
Metropolis and California, specifically California. Specifically
You know, watching the movie,
California.
it was funny because
Uh,
Luther's whole plan to sink California relies on the San Andreas Fault and causing an earthquake that'll cause California to like split and sink. And that's funny to me because, you know, living in California, all my life, ever since like fifth grade science class, I remember we were told one day the San Andreas Fault is going to be hit by an earthquake so big it will split California in half, and the coast will sink. And I was just like terrified for so long, and then I realized, wait, they've been saying this for how many years and it's never happened?
yeah, they've been saying this for how long?
It's like
It's like
eventually it gets to the point where you're
someday.
just like, Okay, is the earthquake gonna hit or not? Because we have earthquakes all the time. I sleep through earthquakes because of how often we have them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The first time I ever actually like felt an earthquake was like I want to say a couple of months ago. Before that, I've never felt them.
Hmm, makes sense.
But yeah, I agree with the placement of A tier for Superman, the first one.
Okay.
Plus, also, it was just a really good sign of like the growing times of filmmaking for special effects. Like one of the first signs of Toku in the West.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's something to be celebrated.
You know, I got this ice cream because I told myself, oh, it'll be super easy. I'll be able to just eat this ice cream while other people are talking, and I don't even have to chew it because it's ice
No,
cream. But then I remembered there's
no,
Play-Doh in this, so I actually do have to chew.
yeah.
I also got the
As long as
large
it's
one
not
because I thought, oh,
raw.
this video is gonna take forever. We have so many movies to talk about, but yeah.
Yeah, how's that working out for you?
At least I have ice cream. Okay, I need ice cream. It's hot in this room.
Yeah, fair enough.
Alrighty. So next up we have Superman 2. And for this one, I considered originally splitting Superman 2 and Donner Cut into two different rankings, like breaking them separately. But I'm just gonna put them together because having watched both, the differences are notable. The differences are there, but I don't understand the idea that there's like a drastic difference in quality. It's mostly just like subtle things like differences in tone. Some scenes are removed, some scenes are added. Things are shot in different orders. The tone's a little bit different. Um, the ending is a little bit bigger difference, but it's not like major differences. I think like the big differences that I can think off the top of my head is in Superman 2, Lois finds out Superman's identity because he like puts his hand into like a fireplace and like it doesn't hurt him, so like the fire doesn't hurt him. Whereas in the Donner Cut, she finds his identity because she shoots him.
Gotta go bada boom. Bang.
I mean, it was a blank, so it was a bluff, but yeah, no, she just gets a gun and just like boom, you're Superman. And then the other difference is that Superman 2 has the mind erasing kiss, so he kisses her and then her memory is erased because of the kiss. Whereas Donner Cut has they just reuse the ending from the first one where he goes back in time to reverse the Earth to make it go backwards in time. But other than that, like other than those differences, the rest is just like small things. I think I prefer Donner Cut a little bit more just because the tone is a bit more serious, and I think that fits the movie better. But overall, minor differences at best. So I'm just gonna put them together, average it out. Yeah, I think that
Mm.
for Superman 2, I am going to put this in. I'm putting it in B tier. The reason why I'm putting it in B tier is because I do think it's a good movie. I do like it. I do enjoy it. But the issues that I have with it are kind of notable. I'm not really a huge fan of Superman abandoning his powers, like giving up his powers to be with Lois. That just doesn't feel like in character for him. Um, it doesn't vibe well with me. And I also don't really like the message of the film that he has to like choose between being Superman or choose being able to live a life with Lois, like being able to have a life to himself or being the protector of Metropolis and protector of Earth. And like I don't like that he has to choose. I don't like that it's framed as he can't do both because he very well can, as several comic stories, including modern comics, have shown. Um, so I think I just don't like that. I don't like that plot point. I don't like the handling of him and Lois and him having to choose like his relationship or his powers and stuff like that. Um, and then I love Zod. Zod is great. I don't really care too much for the other two Kryptonians. I don't even remember their names, but I like Zod a lot. He's a really good villain. Luther's all right in this film. He doesn't really do much, but across the board, it's fine. You know, there are some really good moments about it, namely Zod. But the rest of the film is just kind of not that great for me, so B tier. It's really carried by Zod. If Zod wasn't in this film, it'd probably be C or lower. All right, agree or rebuttal?
So you want to know something really funny about me not really having much experience with the older Superman movies?
Yeah.
It's that I haven't seen this movie, so all I'm getting are from your descriptions of it. And this movie, it's funny that earlier when I was talking about the first Superman movie, I was bringing up how Spider-Man in nature it was, but this movie also just feels very Spider-Man because a very common plot point in the comics of Spider-Man is like, oh, the double life between Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Whenever one succeeds, the other's flopping. It feels very much like that. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like, and it's like, but what about? And it's like I'm just waiting for the part where you're supposed to say, what about his responsibility?
I feel like they actually do make that point in the movie. I think that is something that they like highlight or emphasize is his
Just
responsibility.
Does Pa Kent die in this one and he gives the great power of responsibility speech?
Now that would be funny, but no. No, he gets a responsibility speech from Ghost Dad, Jor-El. I call him Ghost Dad.
Oh, the ghost dad.
Yeah, Ghost Dad.
But yeah, I can't really agree or disagree with this one because I haven't seen it. But
That's
going
okay.
off of
If you haven't
from
seen it, all you have to say is
what I
Holland's right. So true.
that's not what that means. But ultimately, from this perspective, like I'm hearing how Spider-Man-y it is in nature like that,
Mm-hmm.
and given my previous experiences when it comes to Spider-Man comics, that makes me more likely to not like it. So I'm gonna just say B is fair just to be nice to it. Because it's probably a lot better than I'm giving it credit for, but I've been burned by Spider-Man comics.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Hold up. Let me adjust the OBS again because we now have. Oh, that is not the right one. There we go. That's how you do that. Okay. So we now have new guest joining us. Go ahead, introduce yourself real quick.
Oh, hello, I'm Sly.
All right. Let me turn your volume up on my end a little bit because you're a little quiet. But
Same.
What have I missed so far?
we just went through So we went through Superman 1, and then right now we are on. Oh, that is. Hold up. Oop, I did not mean to. There we go. Fixed it. Okay, so we just finished up with Superman 1. We were on Superman 2. Cuspy hasn't seen it. I placed it in B tier. Long story short, I put it there because I like the movie, but it's mostly just Zod that I like. I'm not a huge fan of the Superman and Lois plot. Superman giving up his powers doesn't sit right with me. And I also just don't like that he has to choose between being with Lois or being Superman. I feel like he very much can do both, and having to like frame it as one or the other is kind of not necessarily disingenuous, but not accurate to the character. So, basically, the way we're doing this is first I put it in a tier, I say my thoughts, and then the guests can agree or rebuttal. So, you can either agree, B tier, or you can rebuttal if you think it should be somewhere else.
No, honestly, I would agree with that.
There you go. See, I told you I was right.
Like Superman 2 is still a good movie, but I don't think it is as good as the first one. Like they're
Yeah.
still very close.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't speak to like different versions because like I've only seen the theatrical version. I don't know how different the Donner cut is.
It's really not that different. I watched both of them. I watched the Donner version in my server, and then I watched the theatrical on my own. But it's really small differences. It's mostly just like a different tone. A lot of the comedy is cut out of the Donner version. It's a little more serious in tone. And then some events are different. The two big differences are how Lois finds out about Superman. Theatrical version, it's because of the fire. Donner cut, she shoots him. Um, and then the other ending is the end, how Lois forgets. Theatrical version, it's the mind erasing kiss. Donner cut, they just reused Superman 1. He goes back in time by going around the Earth. It's literally the exact same footage, by the way. It is reused footage, not just reused endings, so.
Oh,
Yeah. But other than that, not
okay.
huge differences.
Okay, so yeah, overall, I would agree with this placement for sure.
Okay. Oh, stop. God, this trackpad is so finicky. All right. So next up is Superman 3, and for this one, I'm gonna say this is D tier, for the fact that this movie is just boring. Um, I could
Ooh.
not tell you what happens in this movie, and I just watched it like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago at this point. I don't know. It's been less than a month,
Oh, yikes.
and I cannot tell you what happened in this movie. Like, I remember Superman at some point fights himself, and then he's like an asshole for some of the movie, and that's it. I don't remember anything else. Oh, Lana Lane is in the movie, and her son wants Superman to go to his birthday party. I don't know. I got nothing. I don't even. I don't even remember who the villains of this movie is. I just know it's like some rich guy, some girl, and a comedian. Oh, he's played by a comedian. He's not a comedian in the
The
movie, but
comedian.
yeah. So this movie's just boring. It's boring. It's forgettable. It's D tier.
I would absolutely
Dang.
agree with that. There's also a plot point about like a really like high-tech computer, which honestly, thinking back, if you cut out the actual villains in this movie and replace that, a good villain would have been Braniac.
I hate the fact that we have never had Braniac as a villain in a live action movie, because I love Braniac a lot. Braniac is one of my favorite Superman villains, and we have never gotten him, and
I
it
agree.
sucks. And I mean, a lot of times the reason we don't get him is budgetary things, like there's not enough budget for it. But I'm like, that's not an excuse anymore. We're in 2025. If the
We're
CW
in
can do it, you can do it.
2025. These movie theaters have so much budget. These movies have budget, I think.
If the CW can give us Brainiac, budget is not an excuse anymore.
Yeah, CW with John Cryer, Lex Luthor.
All right. So next is Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. This one, I'm going to plop this into C tier. And the reason I'm putting it in the C tier and not D tier, because it was either C or D, it's not anything higher than that, is because I think this movie is really bad. It's really, really terrible. And I have so many things that I hate about it that I could complain about for a long time. But I also laughed a lot. Like, I had a lot of fun watching it. Because it's the ridiculous kind of stupid and the absurd stupid that you just have to laugh at. Um, there's an extended scene of Superman going back and forth, switching between Superman and Clark Kent because he's going on a double date with himself. So it's him as Superman having an interview with Lois, and then him as Clark going on a date with, I don't even remember her name. She's like the daughter of some billionaire who bought out the Daily Planet or something like that. I don't remember. I don't remember her character or her name. But she has a thing for Clark, so they're on a date together, and they're on a date together while Lois is doing the interview with Superman. So he just has to go back and forth with himself on his own double date. And it's so absurd and ridiculous, and I don't understand what his end game there was. What was the plan? Like, he can't keep that up forever. I think what I hate most about this movie
really
is...
funny to hear about.
Yeah, it's absurd. It's ridiculous. But I think what I hate most about this movie is the fact that the main antagonist is Nuclear Man. But there is nothing nuclear about him. His power comes from the sun. That's not nuclear, that's solar. He's Solar Man. And
Hey, Solar Man, that's my favorite robot master from Mega Man 10.
And then he can shoot like electricity and stuff like that. That's not nuclear either. There is nothing nuclear. He doesn't have radiation powers. He isn't radioactive. The only reason he's called Nuclear Man is because he was born when Superman um, threw a nuke into the sun that had his hair on it because it was his DNA, and that created. I don't even. I can't. I'm explaining this and it sounds ridiculous and absurd. And I know it's a comic book movie, but I hate Nuclear Man.
So is he supposed to be like the 2025 Ultraman sort of thing?
I don't know. You kind of, I guess. It's okay. So there was actually a deleted scene where originally the film was going to have Bizarro in it, and Nuclear Man was going to be a perfected Bizarro, and that I could have excused. I could have excused that. But because they cut that from the film, now it's just like, well, we created a Superman clone and he's Nuclear Man, even though there's nothing nuclear about him. And by the way, Superman, your plan to get rid of nukes on Earth was to gather them all up and throw them into the sun? Do you know what happens when you throw a nuke into the sun? I hate this
Man,
movie.
don't throw a nuke into the
I
sun.
hate this movie, but I don't hate it enough to not laugh at it because it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel the same, and also I agree with you on your rant about Nuclear Man. And I think the reason they cut Bizarro from the movie is because they're planning on cutting out all that footage and reusing it for Superman 5.
Yeah, that was the plan from what I
What?
understand.
They were gonna future proof it?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
I don't know how I
there
feel
were
about them future proofing a movie
there were
that
a
they.
lot of cutscenes from Superman 4, so they were wanting to reuse all of that for Superman 5. That way, they wouldn't have to spend as much budget to create new scenes.
That's lame. Like that makes sense for like a weekly show, but like I don't know how much sense that makes for like a full on movie production that you have to
Yeah, it's
make
canon
in
films.
for like
That's
hours.
It's canon films. That's why they shut down.
Yeah.
They're spreading
Yeah,
themselves
that
way too
explains a
thin.
lot.
Okay. So next up we have Superman Returns, and this is a hard one to place because on the one hand, I think this film has some really good ideas in it. I like the idea of a world where Superman has been gone for so long, and when he returns, everything's just like completely different. That I really like. I also really like just kind of how people have kind of moved on without Superman. Like Lois's whole thing in this is that she's in a relationship with some other guy. She has a son, but the son may or may not be Superman's son, which actually doesn't make sense if you consider how old the kid is versus how long Superman's been gone. But whatever. Um, but I think the film has a lot of good ideas. I think it has some great ideas. I'm not a huge fan of it being tangentially connected um, to the Christopher Reeves Superman movies. I feel like it would have worked better as its own thing. But like I get what they were going for. I get why they did that. Um, I don't know. It's so hard to say. I think the biggest flaw this movie has is it's just kind of dull. It's really slow. The pacing on it is so slow. The payoff's not worth it. So I don't know. Maybe I want to put it in C tier, but then putting it next to Superman 4: The Quest for Peace feels like an insult. So B.
I mean, did you like the movie or?
I liked the ideas in the movie. I don't know if I'd say I liked the movie.
If
I like
anything,
the ideas more than the movie itself.
I'd say if anything, put it in C, but above Quest for Peace.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, Superman Returns, like you said, has a lot of good ideas. I really like Brandon Routh as Superman,
Oh yeah,
but
he's really good. I'm glad the CW brought him back. That was a very good
definitely,
payoff.
but Superman Returns as a whole, it's a boring movie carried so hard by that airplane scene.
Yeah.
And also, it just has. I understand what they were going for at the time, casting Lex, but like, he wasn't really. He's not even really that great in the role. Like, he just. I don't. Ignoring everything with him, I don't look at him and see Lex Luthor.
Uh huh.
So, yeah, I would agree with C. It's not a great movie, but it has good ideas and a great actor for Superman.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds fair. All right. Now this is gonna be the controversial one, Man of Steel.
Oh boy.
So
Oh, this is where I can start.
I
This
know
is where
Cuspy
I
said
can
that he had some
start.
thoughts on Man of Steel, so I think I'm gonna get some strong words because I am sorry to say I do like this movie and I think it's yeah. Okay, let me explain myself first before
I
the
mean, it's okay
director's
to be
step in.
wrong.
That's my line. I'm the one who says it's okay to be wrong. How dare you? Okay, let me defend my position before. Yeah, I gotta explain myself before y'all rebuttal. Follow the rules. So
Mhm.
the reason why I put it in A tier and why I think it's good is because I get the criticism behind this movie and the criticism behind the Zack Snyder films as a whole of not really feeling like the DC characters, but just feeling like an unnecessary, grim, edge lord, dark version of them. And it's not for everyone. I agree, and there's things about it I dislike too. Um, in terms of like the DCEU and Zack Snyder films as a whole, Man of Steel is kind of on the lower end for me. I'm not like a huge fan of it, but rewatching it in my server, I picked up on a lot of things that I appreciate more about it. I think for me, what works about the film is I think I like the direction that it takes. You know, just kind of like the general idea of Superman choosing to be a hero, choosing to, protect people and help people and serve people, even though that goes against what he was kind of raised and told. In this movie, Jonathan's really strong about don't reveal yourself, don't use your power, stay hidden. And like I'm not a huge fan of that, I'm going to be honest. I don't really like how Jonathan's handled, but I get why they needed to do it for the story that they wanted to tell and the version of Superman that they wanted to do. Like I think making changes to characters is okay if it fits the story you're trying to tell. And this story would not have worked with a traditional Jonathan Kent, with Jonathan Kent being the supportive, kind, loving, optimistic, hopeful farmer father that he always is. Like if this film had a typical Jonathan Kent portrayal and it had him in character similar to pretty much any other film, it fundamentally would not have worked the way the story wanted to go because there would be no conflict. There would be no personal conflict for Superman. There would be no conflict of choice. There wouldn't be anything. So, he needed to be that way for the story to work, which is why I think the changes are fine, even if I personally don't really like the changes. Um, and yeah, I just think that there's a lot of the film too that you can enjoy. It's definitely tonally very different from pretty much anything else on this list. Um, when we were watching it, I forget who said it. I think it might have been Nick who said it, but yeah, it was Nick actually. Yeah, he was like, um, if you watch this movie out of context, it feels more like a horror movie than a Superman movie, and it does. It really does, which is funny considering that Brightburn came out just a few years later, and Zack Snyder was also involved in that. So, to make of that what you will. But yeah, I like the movie. I like what it goes for. I like what it does. I like the DCEU. I like the Zack Snyder movies. They're not for everyone. They have problems, a million problems. I am far from a Zack Snyder fanboy. I kind of hate those guys, honestly, but I like it. I think it's good. I think it's A. All right, you guys can tell me why I'm dumb now.
Okay, so I really don't like the pacing of this movie, and I don't like the look of this movie. I respect that they wanted to go for a different portrayal of Superman, but I gotta say, it looks boring as sin. I'm so tired. Nothing in this movie is interesting to me. On my planet, it means hope. Well, on here, it's an S. Oh, you're so witty, Lois Lane. You're so witty. All the Jesus symbolism. It's like we get it. You think he's God. It's just it's so boring. It's so trite. Trite. It's just
Right.
I don't like it. And they want him to be they want him to be this like god amongst men.
Mm-hmm.
And like even though I feel like the best part of Superman is that even though he has all these amazing powers, the best thing about him is that he's a normal person. And like Pa Kent's terrible. I hate Pa Kent. And he's just like, wait, don't save me. Let me get dragged into this hurricane and let me die.
You know, that whole thing could have been avoided if he had just if Pa Kent had been the one to get to safety under the bridge, and if Clark had gone to save the dog, because like that way he wouldn't have to expose his powers, and he would still be able to more reasonably be in a safe position compared to, yeah, leave the old man there.
Let the old man die. Uh but honestly, the movie just looks so boring and I don't enjoy it. I don't like how they just have Superman destroy everything and just like oh because people complained about it, right? That'll be a talking point for the sequel that gets brought up but then gets basically ignored for the rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't I
I
don't even have a problem with Superman killing Zod. I don't have a problem with that.
Oh, I forgot to talk about Zod. I really like Zod in this movie. I mean, he's not as good as Superman 2 Zod, but you can't go wrong with Zod.
yeah, I like Zod, but I think the biggest problem that I have with this movie is that Superman, it doesn't really give people a reason to start liking Superman. It's like he discovers, I guess he doesn't really discover his powers, but like he gets a suit, he learns how to fly, and then it just cuts right to the final act of the movie with Zod arriving to Earth, and sending out his message. We don't really see like a montage of him like being Superman and saving people before it cuts to like the whole fight in Metropolis.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So,
I can
so
definitely
like for
agree
all they
that
know,
that's an
like
issue. Is like the pacing of the movie, as well as just like the fact that because he is hidden for so long, like the fact that next time we see him in Dawn of Justice, he's like this really praised and revered character. And I mean, speaking on the Jesus allegories, I hate those so much. I especially hate them in Dawn of Justice because they are so ham-fisted there. Like it's so on the nose. Like, oh, he's descending from the sky and everyone crowds around trying to touch him. It's like, you're not smart. You're not smart. You're pretentious. That doesn't even work. Jesus, Superman's not meant to be Jesus. He's meant to be Moses. So I hate those. I'm just gonna say that I'm not defending the Jesusisms because they're dumb and bad. You're not smart, Zack Snyder. You're kind of pretentious.
yeah. So for me personally, I think the max that I would go would be B tier for the
Mm.
movie.
Honestly, I'm gonna be so real. I would not give this movie any credit because I did not enjoy it at all. I would put it in D tier, or else I'd put it in a tier that I would just mark ew.
Well, you know
I
what?
personally,
Obviously you don't have to do that.
I am fine with putting it in B tier because everyone knows that B tier is actually Ballin is right tier. That's what high school
Okay.
writes. There we go.
Jesus Christ.
I wouldn't put it in D tier. That's where I would put Batman v Superman.
Oh, ooh. Can we make a separate tier for Batman v Superman, please?
That's not on the list.
Oh, thank God.
No, so when I was coming up with the list for this, because I made this myself, but when I was coming up for the list, I wanted it to focus on Superman movies. And I know Dawn of Justice counts as a Superman movie, but like it's split 50-50 between Superman and Batman. And that didn't feel like it didn't feel consistent with the rest of these movies. Every other movie on here, except for Injustice, is a Superman movie. If there are other heroes present, they're not the focus. It's like you know, um it's a Superman movie first and foremost. So like that's why I don't have Dawn of Justice here. That's why I don't have the Superman and Batman animated movies, even though I really love those. I think they're really great movies. They're not on here also for that reason, just because of the. I wanted to have like a sense of consistency with the movies that I chose, and that was the best way I could kind of get that consistency, focusing solely on Superman movies rather than movies that have Superman in it, if that makes sense.
Understandable, because
Yeah,
in BVS, Superman only
Okay.
has like 43 lines of dialogue.
exactly, yeah. So, even though, everyone else considers it a Superman movie, and like I get the argument behind that, I think it's better off just not including it. Which, by the way, if we had included Dawn of Justice, I probably would have tossed it into either B or C. I like Dawn of Justice, but it's a it's a very rushed movie. I feel like even the extended, so it's weird because the theatrical version I feel is rushed, and then the extended version I feel is dragged. So like, there's no sweet spot middle point for me. Um,
Yeah, the Ultimate Edition feels very bloated.
yeah, it does. It really does. And I think maybe the feeling of rushed for the theatrical version is just the sense that I would prefer to have more of a build up to Superman and Batman confronting each other and having a fight rather than it being the first movie that Batman's introduced in. Um,
Yeah, and then also Superman dies in his second movie.
yeah, that too. Like, well, I'll talk about it more when we get to the death of Superman movies because there's two of them on this list already. But I don't like how Dawn of Justice handled the death of Superman. But yeah,
Yeah, it's bad.
okay. So I'm perfectly fine with Man of Steel and B tier. I can compromise moving it to there. So next up we have Superman Braniac Attack. So we can start the animated versions or the animated movies. Brainiac Attack is such a hard one for me to rank because I like the movie. I think it's good. I think it's fun. Like, I think it's an enjoyable movie. But what I dislike about the movie is that it uses the DCAU, DC Animated Universe. It uses that art style even though it is not a part of that universe. Like, that movie, the movie's non-canon to that universe. It was never intended to be a part of that universe. There's zero connection. There was never meant to be a connection. They just use the art style because, hey, this is an art style people like. Like,
Yeah, it's a good art style.
it is a good art style, but I feel like if you're gonna use the art style, it's like a little misleading, especially when they bring back so many of the voice actors too. Like, they didn't bring everyone back. I'm not a fan of Luther's voice in this because it has, DCAU Luther's design, but then it doesn't have Clancy Brown. Like, the voice doesn't match. The voice doesn't fit that design. So, like, you can argue that it's a minor thing. You can argue that it's like, oh, it's just a voice, or it's just a continuity or canon. Like, who cares about that? And yeah, probably most people don't care about that. But it does bug me. It bothers me, and it
But you
bothers me
do.
enough to the extent that I think I have to plop it into probably B tier.
I would agree with
I'm
that.
sorry, I can't agree with that. If I don't know, maybe it's just me being petty, but like that gets B tier, but somehow Man of Steel does too.
Hey, I moved Man of Steel down. It was an A tier before.
I don't. Uh,
You're allowed to rebuttal, even if it's a petty rebuttal. That's still a rebuttal.
that is my rebuttal. It's just I enjoyed that one. I actually enjoyed that one.
Mm. It is enjoyable. It is an enjoyable movie. It's fun, but it's not canon, and that bothers me. Like I said, it's a very minor gripe that most people wouldn't care about, but I care about it enough that it's not A tier.
I can understand that because like it's the fact that it's the same art style. They brought some of the cast back, so like it's easier to notice the ones that they didn't get back, especially
Exactly,
Luther.
yeah. Like Luther and Braniac just sound terrible, and it's not a diss on the voice actors. They do a good job, but those voices don't fit those designs.
Right, and especially for Lex, like his voice is just so iconic.
Yeah, how are you gonna make him look like that and not sound like Clancy Brown? Come on.
I'm motherfucking Gerson Boom.
Okay, so let's see. So next we have Superman Doomsday, the first of two Death of Superman movies on this list. I like Doomsday. I think that Doomsday is a really good movie. It's definitely memorable. I remember when this movie came out in, I don't know, was it 2000? It was either 2006 or 2008. I don't know off the top of my head, but either way, I was like, if it was 2006, I was 10. If it was 2008, I was 12. Point is,
It
I
was
was barely under
it
a
was
teenager.
2007.
Huh?
It was 2007.
Wow, I put 2 years and they were both wrong. It was in the middle of those two.
Oh wow, July
Goodness
26th,
gracious.
2007.
Okay, so apparently Ball and Cat math, but we already knew that, considering this stream was supposed to start at
Ballin'.
1 and it started at 2:50.
Math.
But yeah. So the point I was getting at with this story, where I was trying to figure out what year this came out, 2007. I was 11 years old, so I was pretty young. And the first time I watched this movie, it scared me a little bit. Like it wasn't like nightmare scary, but it was one of those like I couldn't stop thinking about it in a good way and in a bad way. Like I was so scared of Doomsday for so long. Well, not so long. It was like 2 years, but it felt like so long. And I watched this movie so many times. I loved it, but every time, like whenever it was like near the end of the Doomsday and Superman fight, I would always look away because I didn't want to see the moment Superman died, and that just kind of like it stuck with me. It's like one of those foundational memories that I have. And it's one of the reasons that I really grew to love Superman so much because like I watched a bit of Superman the animated series here and there, but I didn't watch too much. It wasn't really like that came out in like the 90s. I was born 96, so like the end of 90s. So I caught a bit of it here and there, but I didn't actually watch it until much later. But yeah, so this was one of my first real experiences with Superman. It really stuck with me a lot. And it's just I have so many fond memories of this movie, and it's such an enjoyable movie too. I think the pacing is pretty rushed. They cram a lot into it. Superman dies in the first 30 minutes of the movie, so the weight isn't even as strong as it could be. And then the reveal that the Superman that came back is actually a clone, they dropped that reveal so early. I wish there was more time before the reveal. Like more of the mystery of is it Superman? Is it not? What happened? The fact that they just reveal, oh yeah, this is a clone, like super early. I'm not a fan of that. I'm also not a huge fan of the clones like turn to not necessarily evil, but more like vicious justice, like being more authoritarian and just like taking control. This is my city. I like that, but I feel like the turn
I
was too
mean,
fast. So just in general, pacing issues across the board. But other than that, solid movie, strong movie. I have a lot of fond memories. I'm putting it in A tier.
yeah. like the movie mostly because it's very clear that it wasn't the real Superman. Because, like, let's be real here, there's no way that was going to be Superman because the dude was super authoritarian. Like, that's not Superman.
Yeah. All right. What do
So
you
it's a
think, Sly?
clone.
I'll
Just like
admit, I missed the watch party for this in your server, and it's been years since I've watched it, so I have no real opinion on it, other than I remember liking it.
That's okay. If you haven't watched it or you don't remember, all you have to say is "so true, Ball," and you are right.
Jesus Christ, Ballin. Jesus Christ.
Hey, I brought you guys onto here to validate my opinions, and so far all I've gotten is actually you've done a
What?
lot of validating.
That's a really bad. Why would anyone? That's you brought us here to validate your opinion. It's just like you.
All right, All Star Superman. I'm not even gonna
If you
weigh
wanted
it.
us to
This is an
validate
S
your
tier.
opinions, maybe you should have said that Man of Steel was bad.
I like All Star Superman. I like All
I
Star
actually haven't
Superman.
watched All Star Superman. It's like,
It's this to me is the ideal Superman story. And like I already loved the comic. I think the movie does a great job of adapting the comic while also kind of doing its own thing with the small little changes that it made. Um, Personally, I've never been a huge person to care about comic fidelity or accuracy. You know, as long as you're telling the same basic story, that's all that matters to me. So the fact that, you know, they cut out a lot of things, they remove stuff, not a huge deal. Does kind of suck that they removed the scene of Superman with the you know, the girl who was suicidal and like, comforting her. Like I wish that was in the movie, but I kind of get why they had to cut it, not just for pacing, but I don't know ratings wise how that would have gone over. Um, but what I love about this movie is that, you know, Superman's dying. He knows that he's dying. And what does he do? He spends the last of his time, the last of his days being Superman, helping people, saving people. He's spending time with Lois, you know, saying his farewells, mending his relationships, doing good. Um, Releasing the bottled city of Kandor, helping out the Kryptonians that arrived to Earth. Like in his last moments, when he's dying and he knows he's dying, he still spends his time being Superman, doing good, helping others. And at the end, you know, when Luthor has Superman's powers, I really love just like, you know, when he's defeated, when he's losing his powers and he's having his, you know, villain breakdown, you know, this is your fault, blaming Superman for it. I love how Superman's rebuttal is just, you know, if you really wanted to save the world, you would have done it a long time ago. And like to
yeah,
me, that's really
that's a
poignant.
good philosophy.
I really just love everything about this movie. I love the spirit of it, the hope of it. This is Superman to me.
Agree.
I also agree with that.
There you go. See, guys, we can agree. Just not when it's about Man of Steel.
Yeah, yeah. When you're not saying Man of Steel's good. I'm being petty. I'm being petty. It's a bit. It's a bit. I swear to God, it's
You
a
are
bit.
good. You are good. No worries. I'm the one that said I wanted to validate my opinions. You're allowed to be petty after that. Okay. All right. So next up is Superman versus the Elite, and this is another one I gotta plop into S tier because pretty much this is the exact same reason. I feel like does a very great job of capturing Superman and capturing what it is about Superman that makes him stand out. You know, I think that I also really love how the Elite are presented as the movie's antagonists. You know, they're the villains, but they aren't really evil. They're more so just like, you know, they believe in punishment, whereas Superman believes in justice, and it's like that framing and the core ideologies and how they clash. You know, with the Elite, they think we have our powers, we're stronger than people, So we have the right to take people's lives or to do whatever we can to stop people who are doing bad things. And their idea of what's right is twisted. They frame Superman as being a problem and someone that has to be taken care of because he's in their way. So it's not like they're just like altruistic or anything, but they're not really evil. They're not really villains. They're more so just like, yeah, we do things our way. We're in control here. We're in power, and anyone that we're gonna stop, we're gonna do it our way, which is killing them. So I really like that. I really just
So
love
it's like
the framing of it. Hmm.
it's like Superman versus the Punisher before Dawn of Justice.
Basically, you're not wrong.
Okay.
Pretty much,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, there's
All
that.
right, that sounds pretty good. I gotta check it out for myself.
Oh,
You
if you have
should.
not seen this movie, you should. I recommend it so strongly. It is such a good movie. Like, oh, I really love it. Like, it is just, it's so good. And like the end scene, like the final fight, the final confrontation between Superman and the Elite, it's so chilling. Like, it is just so tense. Um, it's such a great way to end the movie. And I also like how during some points of the movie, it makes you question if the elites are right. If they're in the right or if Superman is. It's framed as a genuine. You can see both perspectives rather than just no, Superman's 100% in the right. So yeah, I love the movie a lot. I really love it. I think it's great. I think definitely great representation of Superman. Great accurate um, depiction of who he is and what he stands for.
I
As
agree. I mean,
someone who loves X-Men. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
you're fine. You can go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, as someone who loves X-Men, I love the complicated moralities.
Hmm.
So this is definitely intriguing me to make me want to watch this movie. Now before I so rudely interrupted, go ahead, Sly Rocker.
Once again, it's all good. And honestly, if you are into that, I feel like this movie would be right up your alley. Um, but yeah, this watching this in your server, that was actually my first time watching this movie, and I
Hmm.
absolutely agree with you, Balling. I think if I were to try to get someone into Superman, this is the movie that I would show them because it perfectly shows shows you like who Superman is and what he believes in. So like
Exactly. Yeah.
it's yeah, I would show them that, and I would also show them All Star Superman.
Yeah.
So I absolutely agree with you putting in S.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, um, next up is Superman Unbound, and I really have to say that this movie's just kind of forgettable, which sucks because I was talking about how much I love Braniac, how Brainiac's one of my favorite Superman villains, but I'm not really just like a huge fan of this movie. Like, it's good, it's fine, it works well, but it doesn't do anything stand out. It doesn't do anything amazing. I also feel like the film's kind of split. Does it want to be a Superman movie or does it want to be a Supergirl movie? Because there's so much of the movie that focuses on Supergirl and focuses on her trauma and her experiences with Brainiac, but that's never really confronted or resolved. It just kind of feels like she just gets over it. There's not like a natural build up to her feeling confident in being able to face Brainiac and stop him. And he's pretty much gone from the movie for a substantial length of time, so it doesn't feel like a Superman movie either. So it feels like there's a bit of an identity crisis here. Is it a Superman movie? Is it a Supergirl movie? Neither of them feel like the main character, but it doesn't feel like both of them are the main character either. It just feels like it doesn't know who it wants to focus on. It's
So who
fine.
does
It's
feel like the
enjoyable,
main
but
character to you?
yeah, that's true. I don't know. I wish I liked this movie more because I do like Brainiac. I think the film's enjoyable. I think that it's a fine movie. It's serviceable. It works well, but I don't know. I gotta pop it into B tier.
I mean, I'm not here to argue about that. I'm just wondering, who do you think is the main character?
If I had to choose, I would say Superman is the main character, because Superman is ultimately the one who directly confronts Brainiac, the one who defeats him, and the one who has the more notable arc. Both Superman and Supergirl have an arc in this movie. Supergirl's arc is about kind of accepting her life on Earth, adjusting to Earth, and also getting past her trauma with what happened with Brainiac. Superman's arc is about his desire to protect everything, to keep everything safe, and also his difficulty with getting, um, letting people in, letting people kind of accept him or stuff like that. And so, yeah, I really feel like, hmm, I feel like Superman is the more notable main character. His arc is more directly notable. One of the big subplots running is him and Lois and their relationship. And at the end, he decides to make their relationship public because they had been keeping it a secret. So, like, there's a more notable payoff to his character arc, I feel. So I'd say Superman's the main character in this movie, which is why it's included on the list. But it really doesn't feel like it at times when he's just gone from the movie for, like, a really good part of it in the middle.
Mm.
Movie's also just forgettable. I forgot I had watched this movie when we watched it in my server. I was like, I feel like I've seen this movie, but I don't know. And then like half an
Did
hour
you
in,
like
I was like,
host?
I have seen this movie.
Did you like host two watch parties of the same movie?
No, I'd watched this movie a long time ago before that, but
Mm.
yeah. But yeah, so B tier. What do you guys think?
I haven't
So
seen
true,
this one.
Ball, and you're so right.
Somebody gets it. Oh.
Oh yeah. Now you got your yes man.
I got the yes man and I got the contrarian.
I'm not contrary.
You are when it comes to Man of Steel, apparently.
Well, that's because Man of Steel's bad. It sucks. Uh, I feel like Aaron Hansen. That's not a good thing to feel like.
That's terrible.
Respect Aaron Hansen as a comedian and as a person, but I don't like to talk like I'm Aaron Hansen.
Mm-hmm. All right then. So moving on to the death of Superman, the second time they did this movie, and I think I like this movie more than Superman Doomsday. And that might be a controversial opinion because I know Doomsday's really good. People really like it. I mean, it's an A tier. But I like this one more than Doomsday for literally just one reason, and that is the end of this movie. You know, like I mentioned in Doomsday, and like I briefly touched on when we talked about Dawn of Justice, I feel like Superman's death needs to have weight to it. You need to feel the moment. You need to feel like there's a heavy loss. Like something has been lost. With Dawn of Justice, it does terribly at that. It is a terrible job of feeling like it matters that Superman's dead and feeling like, you know, there's an impact. Like the world has been changed. The people that knew him, their lives have been changed. You don't get that in Dawn of Justice. He's dead, and that's kind of it. Like his funeral is so empty. There is like very little emotion there. With Doomsday, there's the emotion. Like there are sad moments, but it happens too fast. He dies in the first 30 minutes of the movie. The buildup isn't as good as it could be. Death of Superman gets it right. After he's dead, you feel the moment heavy. You know, the Justice League is there to commemorate him. The Lex Luthor gives a speech about him. You see Ma and Pa Kent, you know, she's crying. She's crying really hard, and then a police officer tells her that, you know, she has to step back. She's too close. And then Pa Kent's just like, oh, you know, she really cared about him. And it's like that hits hard. It's like their son is dead and they cannot even grieve him because he's a public figure. Like, to everyone else in the world, they lost Superman, they lost their son, and they cannot express that. They can't show the sadness that they want to feel. Like, yeah, they're crying, they're sad, but they can't mourn that personal sense of mourning. You have the scene where um Bivo, he prays he prays for Superman. You know, he says a Hail Mary, and then he starts crying, and he's just like, you know, it's not fair. Superman dies, whereas a nobody like me gets to keep on living. Like, there's so much emotion there. It's hard. It's painful. It's heavy hitting. Superman's death feels like it means something. It feels like it matters. It feels like the world really has lost something, and you don't get that in any other adaptation of Death of Superman. The rest of the movie is an extended fight scene, really. Half than half of the movie's just fighting Doomsday. The Justice League gets taken out way too easily, I feel, but that doesn't matter. It's not their movie, it's Superman's movie. And at the end of the day, the only thing that matters for Death of Superman is the death of Superman. And this movie does Superman's death better than any other version. I literally tear up crying every time at the end because of how excuse me. That was terrible, I'm sorry. I literally tear up
There you go.
crying every time just because of how emotional it is. Like right now I was almost tearing up just explaining it. So like it's just so good and it's S tier.
This makes me want to watch it, so I'm gonna thank you for that.
Oh, I love getting people to watch stuff. You're welcome.
Yeah, much like this for this and the Reign of Superman, I missed the watch parties in the Discord, so I will agree, but it is making me want to rewatch the movies again.
You should. You very much should. The watch party that we did in my server was the third time that I watched this movie. First time I watched it was when it came out on Blu-ray. Second time I watched it was in theaters. I watched it as a double feature. Death of Superman and Reign of the Supermen. They were lumped together as a double feature in theaters, so I watched it there with my brother. And then this was the third time I've seen this movie. So 3 times I've seen this movie, and all 3 times I have cried or nearly cried at the end. It is just so good. Like, Death of Superman has never been done as well as it is done here. The rest of the movie is just fine. Just basically an extended fight scene. The fight's good, but then none of that matters. The only thing that matters for Death of Superman is the death of Superman, and it gets it right. Which is why it sucks that the next movie, Reign of the Superman, kinda sucks. Yeah.
What's Reign of Superman about?
So Reign of the Superman is the follow-up. It's the direct sequel. Um, Basically, the way Death of Superman ends, which it's not really a spoiler because it's in the name. It ends with Superman dying. I just literally just went on a rant about how he dies, and I'm just like, is that a spoiler? No, it's not. It's in the name. So Death of Superman ends with Superman dying, and then at the end, the last scene of the movie is Superman's tomb where he was buried. It's the S, so the Superman symbol that was kind of like sealing the tomb off, has been moved open, so the tomb is empty. No, this is not a Jesus allegory, I swear. The tomb is empty, and then Superman, or what appears to be Superman, some kind of figure, is seen floating in the sky above it. But it's dark at night, so you can't really see what it is. And so the movie's left with that cliffhanger. Is Superman alive? Did he resurrect? No, this is not a Jesus allegory. What happened there? So Reign of the Superman is the follow-up movie where a bunch of new Supermen have started popping up. So you have Cyborg Superman, who is Superman with cybernetic implants. You have Superboy, who is a clone of Superman made with Superman's genetic material. You have the Eradicator, who his origins are kind of a mystery. You have Steel, who's really just a guy in a suit, like a metal suit. Not even a robot suit, a metal suit. And then I feel like I'm missing one because there's supposed to be. Oh no, that is four: Cyborg, Superman, Superboy, Eradicator, and Steel. So four different Supermen are. They show up, and nobody knows. What happened to the real Superman? Where is he? Is he dead? Is he alive? Is one of these the real Superman? And that's kind of the conflict. And it would have been a really good movie. But the reason why it sucks is because they throw all of that away to shoehorn in Darkseid. Because, yep,
Oh.
Darkseid was the one who sent Doomsday. Yep, Darkseid was the one who wanted Superman dead so that he could invade Earth again. Because, yep, this was all Darkseid's plan. Don't you love
Who's,
Darkseid, guys?
who's been messing up everything? It's been Darkseid all along.
Yeah, this movie would have been good if it didn't just shoehorn in Darkseid. And then what I hate more about this movie is that this movie directly leads into Apocalypse War, and the less we talk about that movie, the better.
Apocalypse War, the X-Men arc?
I wish I would prefer that over Justice League Dark
That's
Apocalypse War.
See, that's really sad because Apocalypse Wars is like one of the most hated X-Men arcs.
And yet somehow I would still take it over this Apocalypse War.
That's depressing.
Yeah.
I've never watched Apocalypse War, but from what I've heard, I'm much better off without watching
Oh,
it.
this is the one time where I will say if you haven't watched it, just do yourself a favor and don't. Just don't.
Genuinely, at this point, I think the only way I would watch it is if there was a watch party in this server.
Are Nightwing and Coriander together?
Yes.
Good, then I'll watch it.
Okay.
I don't like
That's
Nightwing
okay.
X Batgirl. I'm a Teen Titans kid. I grew up on Teen Titans. That means Starfire, Nightwing, or bust. Like even Teen Titans Go gave me that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Alright. So next up is Red Sun, the communist Superman story. This is one of the times where the movie and the comic book are drastically different. The deviations that the movie takes and the creative liberties that it takes from the animated version are very, very notable, very wide. It still tells the same basic general story, but it's like if you've read the comic and you read the movie, you can tell right away that it's just they're two different stories. Just like the same basic details, the same background plot information, and the same setup, but the direction they go in and the way they handle those plots is what's really different. And it works. I like both of them. I like the comic a little bit more, especially the ending of the comic I like more than the ending of the movie, but they both work. I think what I like about Red Sun is that I am not a fan of evil Superman movies. I'm not a fan of what if Superman was actually a dictator? It's like, no,
Yeah,
I don't care about
you
that.
can say Injustice.
Oh, don't worry, I'm waiting until we get there. It's right next. But what I like about Red Sun is that even though he technically is a dictator, he doesn't really act like one and he doesn't feel like one. Throughout Red Sun, he has multiple opportunities to attack Earth or to attack the U.S. and to take over the U.S. and he doesn't. His mentality is basically, you know, I'm just gonna let the U.S. destroy itself, and then when they're in ruins, I will send my people there, and we will save them from themselves. But he doesn't. He never attacks the U.S. until the very end of the movie, after several provocations and manipulation. He
See,
himself
that's really
doesn't.
topical, all things considering nowadays.
Yeah, maybe this wasn't the best idea. The monetization for a channel that doesn't have monetization. But yeah, like
What if this live stream got you demonetization and then immediately they're like,
now that would be funny. But yeah, so I like I like the framing of the movie. I like the setup. I like the way that even though he, it's communist Superman, it's not evil Superman. Yeah, he's not really a
You
hero, but
hear me?
he's also not. Yeah, I can hear you. He's also not like
Okay,
evil. He's
cool.
not. I really just would not call him a dictator, especially in the sense that like the what he does is like morally gray and very very shady and dubious. Like he has a secret police and he has like people that rebels and dissenters. He has them like sent to the gulag and brainwashed. That's like that is not okay. That is very messed up and wrong. Do not do that, Mr. Superman. But he treats his people with genuine kindness. When he finds out that Stalin has been um, when he finds out that Stalin has been having people in prison camps and that he's been having people tortured and stuff, he's like, "You can't do this. You know that they're Russians. They're our people. We're supposed to protect them. We're supposed to take care of them." And Stalin's like, "Sacrifices must be made." And Superman's, "I agree." And then he killed Stalin.
Nice.
So like, when he found out Stalin was torturing and doing terrible things to the Russians, and he's just like, "You can't do that to our people. They are our people," and he killed Stalin over it. So he's not evil. He has dubious morality. He's morally
Yeah, he's not.
gray. He does very shady and probably illegal stuff, but he's not evil Superman. He's barely a dictator. He doesn't create war. He doesn't start war. Um, I just think it's a really interesting take on the character. I think it's
He's a
really
mix of
interesting.
Wolverine and Colossus.
So, all of that said, I will put it into A tier for being the best not evil Superman we've ever gotten. Okay.
When the wind is low and the fire's hot, the vulture waits to see what rots. Oh, how pretty! All the scenery, this is nature's sacrifice.
Once again, Bond, you're so true.
Ah, that is what I wanted guests for.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so we have three left. Injustice. I think we all know where this goes.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, this time I want to say it. Can I say it, Ballin? Can I
Sure.
say it?
Okay.
Wow, Ballin, you're so true.
uh, God, Injustice. I already
Especially as
don't
a
think
Flash
Injustice is a
fan,
good
this movie
story.
hurts me.
Oh, sorry. You can go. You can go.
Especially as a Flash fan, this movie hurts me.
Oh God, what they did to Flash. Oh, that's.
It was such a waste of Yuri Lowenthal.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that, but you're
I
right.
don't like what they did with Wonder Woman.
When it comes to Injustice, I'm very
I don't.
mixed about like the Injustice games. I think that they have like a decent foundation, but the execution is really bad on both game stories. The Injustice comics started off pretty good, but they just dragged out so much and it just felt like incredibly contrived plot to make Superman not defeated and also incredibly ridiculously dumb. He gets manipulated so easily. Like I know that the point, or at least the point was supposed to be that because he's heartbroken and dealing with grief and guilt and trauma and everything, he can't think clearly, and that's why he's manipulated so easily. But you will never be able to convince me that Superman of all characters is going to work together with Sinestro. Like, I'm sorry, no.
Yeah, that's not happening.
So let me ask,
Mm-hmm.
for Injustice Superman, do you think he can or should be redeemed?
At this point, no. At this point, I would say way too far gone. If they tried to redeem him in Injustice 3, if Injustice 3 happened and it's the Superman redemption story, they are going to have to do a lot of work to sell me on that because this version of Superman just does not seem redeemable at this point. They did I forget what it was, but it was like it was a Superboy story, John Kent, where I guess he was like going through like different universes and stuff and he ends up in the Injustice universe. And
Yeah,
yeah, and like that wasn't enough to redeem Superman. Like if his own son from another universe isn't enough to redeem him or get him to stop what he's doing, I just don't think it's gonna happen.
I think personally he was irredeemable after he killed Billy Batson.
Mm.
But like,
Among Us.
not only are people wanting Superman to be redeemed, but people are also wanting Diana to be redeemed.
That one's excuse me. I need my drink.
Which I also don't think is possible, considering Diana is the reason, most of the reason Clark turned out the way he did.
Oh, God, I had something stuck in my throat. Okay, it's better now. Yeah, I think Diana is even more irredeemable than Superman at this point, which also just sucks. The character assassination on her is so bad. I have not seen character assassination this strong since I read The Dark Knight Returns. Or not Returns, Strikes Back. Yeah, that's the bad one. Dark Knight Strikes Back.
And it's unfortunate because like I feel like a lot of people who don't read comics, this is their definitive versions of the characters and how they want them to act.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that. I've seen that going around quite a bit. People being like, people who only have experience through Injustice, or that was like one of their primary experiences playing the Injustice games and then reading the Injustice comics, being like, "Oh, what are you talking about? Like, this is so good. It's such a good story." And I'm just like, "Is it a good story, or do you not have a good frame of reference?" And that sounds mean. That sounds very mean. But I mean, is it
It does,
wrong?
but it's not wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I think specifically talking about the Injustice movie, I hate it even more than I hate the Injustice story in the games and comics because it's so rushed. They try to condense everything into a single movie, and I feel like if they were going to do that, if they're going to do a single movie, then they should have gone about it in a different way rather than trying to play things out the way the comics did and then only changing things at the ending. Like this movie just it feels like the pacing on it is super fast because it has to be. There's never a time for a scene to like breathe. Nothing ever has like weight to it or feels consequential. You know, you have characters dying, but their deaths don't feel like anything because it's just like, oh, that happened. And the characters barely react to it. They have very minimal reaction to character death. Flash dies and it's acknowledged maybe once. Green Arrow dies and there's like a throwaway line about we left him behind. He was dead. It's like um Cyborg and Hawkman die and then Superman just like, well, they're dead. Oh well, let's keep going. And none of the character deaths ever matter or feel like they matter because they're barely even acknowledged. That's how fast the movie goes. And then the other thing this movie does that really bothers me is they remove the aspect of injustice that was actually kind of interesting, which is the Justice League members who choose to side with Superman. Because, you know, in the games and in the comics, there are a good amount of people that side with him. Green
Yeah,
Lantern's on his side, Shazam's on his side, Flash is. Um, you know, he has like an actual team of heroes supporting him. In the movie, Well, the Green Lanterns all go back to Oa. They're never seen again. Shazam has a throwaway line about magical heroes not wanting to do with anything. Aquaman just goes back to Atlantis and we never see him again. The only characters that actually fight with Superman and support him in the movie are just Wonder Woman, Cyborg, and Hawkman. And Cyborg and Hawkman die fighting Amazo, so it's literally just Superman and Wonder Woman. What kind of a regime is that? It's two people!
I haven't.
They take a bad
Injustice.
story and they
Injustice.
somehow make it worse.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
I'm glad this movie came out when it did, because if it had come out just a few years later, everyone would have been making Homelander jokes when Superman kills the Joker cult. Not even a cult; it's really just teen party.
Right.
I hate that you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we can all agree Injustice sucks. I don't think I know anyone that likes this movie other than people whose only frame of reference is Injustice.
Exactly, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we have Superman Man of Tomorrow, which was originally not going to be on this list because, fun fact, I forgot this movie existed. But I figured I might as well put it on here just because, if I'm not, someone was going to ask about it. So, what can I say about this movie? I forgot it existed. That's what I can say about this movie. I didn't watch it. I didn't rewatch
Apparently, a lot
it.
of
Yeah.
people on Rotten Tomatoes loved it.
Yeah.
Or no, actually, only it reviewed critically well, but it only got middling audience scores.
That makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. I forget this movie exists. I actively try to forget this movie exists, and I just do it naturally. But I don't like the Tomorrowverse. The Tomorrowverse as a whole was really underwhelming. And then Crisis on Infinite Earths happened, and it made me hate the whole thing. So I like to pretend the Tomorrowverse doesn't exist. I would much rather not acknowledge this movie, but it has to be here. So I don't think it's as terrible as Injustice, but I'm perfectly fine just throwing it into here.
I didn't watch this movie.
I like this movie, honestly. I do. I think it was a good start to a new universe, but we know how that rest of the universe turned out, so let's ignore that. I think as a standalone movie, it's pretty good.
You know, yeah, I guess as a standalone movie, I can bump it up. I can bump
There's
it up there.
only Secret Wars.
Now, what are your thoughts on the art style of this movie? Because it was very different from what we had previously.
It's grown on me. Originally I didn't like the art style for the Tomorrowverse. Now that's the least of my gripes when it comes to the Tomorrowverse, but it's definitely grown on me. I definitely feel like I've been able to appreciate it more. I've been able to see it as kind of what it is, and it works. It works for what they're trying to do.
I would
With
agree.
the original animated movies, like or not the original ones, but like the New 52 ones, they were very heavily inspired by the New 52, so they had similar art styles, similar designs. This went in a completely different direction, and that's kind of the point. The point is this is supposed to be drastically different from the New 52 verse.
Yeah, and also I like the choice of villain with Parasite.
Oh, I like that too. That's definitely a point for it. Oh, you're making me want to put it into B tier now, but no, I am firm. It's staying in C.
Could put it into B tier. Peer pressure, peer pressure, peer pressure, peer pressure, peer pressure.
I'm
Yeah,
not listening
honestly,
to you after what you said about Man of Steel.
honestly, I would have put it in B. Honestly, I
Listen,
would.
when I'm right, I'm right.
It's 2 against 1.
But yeah, talking about the rest of the Tomorrowverse really quickly, the movie selection is very questionable.
Mm-hmm.
Because the next movie in this universe was, if I remember correctly, was Justice Society, World War II. What?
Yeah, yeah.
And also, this was the only Superman movie in that universe.
Oh, you're right. It was.
Very odd.
Mm.
Okay, and now finally gets to what people actually wanted to talk about: the new Superman movie. Okay, so let's keep
Yay!
this spoiler free or vague spoilers, just because it's only been a couple of weeks, and I still think some people haven't gotten a chance to see it. But I do have a lot to say about this movie. So I loved it. I really loved it a lot. I think this is such a good movie. Like, you just get out of seeing it and you feel good about yourself. You feel happy. This movie makes you feel happy. And it makes you feel like a good person. And it makes you want to be a better person. And that's what Superman should be. Like, that's the point of the character, is that inspiring others and hope, optimism, like I talked about with All Star Superman and Superman versus the Elite. That's what I look for in a Superman story. How well the character does at inspiration, hope, kindness. That's what Superman is. And I know some people hate that. I have a friend
Yeah.
who absolutely hates Superman because, according to him, he's boring. I think that's a terrible argument. I think that's a dumb argument, and it misses the point of the character. If you think Superman's boring, I think you need to reevaluate how you view the value of kindness, hope, and optimism.
I would agree. Like for anyone who thinks Superman is boring, they just
Yeah.
haven't watched or read the right content.
Mhm.
Like if they were to say like Superman is boring, like I would assume they watched like Superman Returns.
Yeah, probably.
I did not watch Superman Returns, but I did watch Superman 2025, and I loved it.
I think the other just incredibly standout thing that just has to be mentioned: Lex Luthor in this movie. Wow, did it blow me away. Like, I
Bro's got
have
massive hater energy, and I respect that.
I have never shied away from defending Jesse Eisenberg. I'm a massive Jesse Eisenberg apologist. I loved his Lex Luthor. But this was another level of Luthor in how strong the portrayal was. Like, you can feel the not just like the hater energy, but like why he's so heavily driven, and just the fact that it is pettiness. It's pettiness, ego, vanity. He hates Superman because Superman makes him feel inferior, and he hates feeling inferior. He hates Superman because he doesn't see Superman as a human, and he believes that Superman's existence makes humans un unimportant, that they don't matter. Nothing any human does will ever compare to Superman just existing. And he hates that. And that is Lex Luthor. That is the core of Lex Luthor right there. Superman makes him feel inferior. He makes humanity inferior in Luthor's viewpoint. So he hates what Superman represents and stands for. And just everything about this portrayal. Oh, God, the gun scene? You know the gun scene. The gun scene. Oh, God, that is such a good scene.
Absolutely.
Ooh. Yeah, this Lex is just, man. I'm still
That
I'm
was a
still gonna
really
be
good
I'm still gonna be
scene.
ride or die for Jesse Eisenberg, but this is the best Lex hands down. Nothing
Yeah,
compares to this that we've gotten.
yeah. Nicholas Hoult was amazing, and honestly, in my opinion, it gets better when you realize that Nicholas Hoult also auditioned for the role of Superman. I just think that's a fun fact to just keep in mind when watching his performance as Lex.
Yeah, it's a fun little like little meta thing, but it works so naturally. It works in so well.
And
I
also
The
the
really
fact
love
that
it.
hater energy because I should have been Superman.
and also for the fact that he auditioned for the role of Batman for Matt Reeves' movie. But yeah, I really like this movie. So there is there's one scene in the movie that goes on for 12 minutes, but it doesn't feel that it went on that long. It feels like it lasted half that time.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think that might be one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Hmm.
Um, so for the engineer, interesting choice. I guess James wanted her in the movie because he's also wanting to do The Authority, which is now a movie that's on hold. Personally, I think she could have been replaced entirely with Marcy,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing would have changed with her.
Yeah, I really do have to agree with that. Um, I liked the engineer. I thought she was a good addition, but in terms of like android robotic characters, Superman has a lot of those. So bringing in someone not really related to Superman, not a Superman character, to fit in that role does feel a little bit kind of weird, out of place. It probably is just to build up the authority, because I know James Gunn said that was like a passion project of his that he wants to do, but definitely kind of feels a little out of place, unfitting. Um,
Yeah. And without going too much into spoilers, what did you think of Ultraman?
I thought Ultraman was serviceable. I thought he fits the role that he's supposed to well. He works. I I like what they did with him. I like kind of this version of him. Um, I know a lot of people are kind of disappointed that Ultraman was used in this nature, but I'm personally fine with it. I think that it's a good enough choice. It works, and yeah, I just I think it's a creative and innovative choice, and I think it works for the character. And I mean, if we're being honest, this feels like one of those comic fans complaining for comic fans moments. If you really had to raise your hand and say, I love Ultraman, Ultraman's one of my favorite characters, would you raise your hand? Most people wouldn't.
Exactly. Like I feel like if anyone were to raise their hand, they'd probably be thinking of the Tokusatsu character.
Yeah.
And that is a great segue into my point that if you love this movie, you should watch Shin Ultraman because they are basically the same movie.
You're honestly so right.
I saw a lot of people saying that on Twitter, and I was like, what? That's interesting. And then I watched the
It
movie
might
and I was like, I get it. They are right. It's true. I get it.
it could have been intentional because James Gunn is big fan of Ultraman.
Yeah. I mean, Shin Ultraman's my personal favorite of the Shin movies. I didn't watch Shin Godzilla, but I've seen parts of it. I want to watch the whole thing at some point, but I'll probably watch
It's gonna
Godzilla 1
be
first. And Shin
Shin
Kamen
Godzilla.
Rider was not for me. I was not a fan. It was a little too all over the place for me. But Shin Ultraman, that was a great movie. I love that.
Yeah, of the Shin movies, Shin Ultraman is honestly my favorite. And if you haven't watched, since you haven't watched Shin Godzilla, it's gonna be in theaters again next month.
Oh, really? I'll have to see if I can
Yeah,
drag anyone along for that.
August 14th, I think. But I love the little like addition of like the speaker on his dress to kind of like make it look like a color timer.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Now for Superman, there's this one twist that people don't like, but honestly, I didn't really mind it that much. Um, to not kind of like say out exactly outright what it was the thing that Lex was kind of searching for.
Oh, yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, I didn't mind that honestly, because like it
I
doesn't really change too much for the character of Superman.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of that twist, in the general change, but I also don't think it's a huge problem. like the way some people are reacting to that, or some of kind of like the expressions of that, I feel like, kind of similar to what I said for Man of Steel regarding the changes made to Jonathan Kent. A change, if a change fits the story, if it fits the purpose for what they're trying to do, then that change should be acceptable. You don't have to personally like the change. You don't have to think it's a good change, but if it works for the story they're trying to tell, and it fits the framing of this story and this universe, then it's not an unnecessary change or a pointless change. It's a reasonable one, and that's how I feel about this. I'm not the hugest fan of it. Like, I do think it's a little weird and off-putting, but I like the message. I like the general message, and like the takeaway that Superman gets of kind of, I'm a hero because of me. I chose to be a hero. I chose to be Superman. I chose to be who I am. And it's also just like the scene that Superman has um with Pa Kent, where he's like, just like comforting him and reassuring him that he's proud of him. Like, that's a touching and sweet moment, and I like that.
I agree. Honestly, I really liked the Kents in this movie. They were so sweet. But how did you feel about the casting of Superman in this movie?
So I know that I know James Gunn said that he wanted to go with a like a younger Superman. That's why they didn't bring Henry Cavill back, because they wanted someone younger. And yeah, I definitely see it. I see that why having a younger Superman is important for this movie. And I also just think that he does a really good job as Superman and as Clark Kent. We don't get to see much of Clark Kent. We only see a couple of moments, but even those small bits are nice. Like the awkward way he tries to like move through a crowd to get into the office, or like how he just kind of when he's talking on the phone with his parents, like that's just like small little things like that. I think it works to kind of sell Clark Kent. Um, I know a lot of people hate the fact that James Gunn made the hypno glasses canon, like that's the thing, because hypno glasses are like a really old comic thing. But something that I kind of thought of was, I think hypno glasses are kind of necessary. I think they kind of need them, just for the sheer fact that there are cameras everywhere, and there's surveillance everywhere. So in modern times, somewhere something is going to detect Superman and Clark Kent and be able to facial ID recognition match them. So just because of that, you kind of need hypno glasses to be a thing. And I really don't think it's that big a deal. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, now that you mention that, I can get on the train of hypno glasses. Because like for me, I think personally, just normal glasses and the different hair would have done enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, like, that's enough to fool, like, the average person. Um, Most people aren't. There's also just like it's this phenomenon where if you aren't looking for someone, you're not gonna see them. It's the reason why nobody ever recognizes Tony Hawk, and they tell him, "Hey, you kind of look like Tony Hawk," because they're not looking for Tony Hawk. But just the digital era that we're in, and the fact that you know video surveillance and AI and face scanning and all of that exists, I think that kind of necessitates hypno glasses or some kind of Kryptonian technology to mask his identity. Otherwise, I think a month tops you have Superman as Clark Kent.
Yeah. And then so the Justice Gang. I will admit, when we first got casting for this movie, I was not excited because I thought it was gonna be just a really overbloated film because it was gonna bring in Green Lantern Guy Gardner, Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific, and I didn't think they were really necessary in a Superman movie. But I think I think James really balanced it well.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I just gotta say, Mr. Terrific was one of the best characters in the movie.
Oh yeah, Terrific's definitely a standout. I love him. Um, I said this on Twitter,
I
but
love Mr. Terrific.
go ahead, go ahead.
They did my they did my boy so dirty in X-Men First Class, but then when he came back, he's god dang Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, I said this on Twitter, but what I love about Mr. Terrific in this movie is he actually has a personality. He's not just the smart one. So many adaptations of Mr. Terrific and also just smart characters in general shoehorn them into this box of this smart logical ones. They use very big words and they have very little emotion in their tone when they speak, and they're very direct and straightforward, and I kind of hate that. It is so overdone. There are other ways to show your character is smart than making them talk like a whatever that race from Star Trek is. The emotion ones, I forget what they're called. Spock is one of them, I think. I don't know Star Trek.
Vulcan?
Thank you. I should have picked a better reference, something I actually know. But the point is, there are better ways to make your character smart and make the audience know that they're smart than just relying on how they talk or things like that. It's why people are tired of characters like the first thing that came to mind was Sheldon Cooper, and I wanted to avoid using that one, but with Sheldon Cooper, we're going with that. So I just love the fact that Terrific has a personality. You know, he's fun. He's like a well-rounded overall character. He's not just a smart one. He's not shoehorned into this box of being the smart one and just only being that. He gets to be an actual character while also being the smart one. So I love him so much for that. The fact that it's a Terrific with a genuine personality to him. Um, and I have seen some people on Twitter saying that the way he talked was a phrase I would rather not repeat. And to that, I have to say, you're probably a little racist if you think that he can be, he can talk the way he talks and be smart. Okay, ghetto. The word was ghetto.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, you can say it. I've heard it.
I mean, ghetto's not even a slur or anything. I just don't like the word, which is funny because I'm
Oh,
Hispanic and here
it's
we
not a
call
good
everything
word.
ghetto.
It's not a good word.
Yeah.
It's the word of the man.
But yeah, no, I've seen a lot of people complaining about the way he talks, saying that he talks too ghetto or like too street, and I'm just like, you're probably not. Maybe you're. Hopefully, you're not trying to be racist, but that kind of feels a little racist. Rethink what you're saying. But yeah, I love him. He's a standout. I hope he gets his own movie or show or something. Justice Gang as a whole, I was super on the fence about. I just was unsure because I don't like movies overstuffed with characters, especially for like the first Superman outing in a long time. I was like, can we just get a Superman movie, please? But it was a Superman movie. Like the Justice Gang are important characters, but they work to enhance Superman's story, not to detract from it or have their own story.
Yeah. Yeah, plus, like, even though the Justice Gang are part of the movie, notice how Superman's not in the Justice Gang. He's just a friend to them.
Yeah, that too.
Sort of like how Spider-Man's not an Avenger in Homecoming, but Iron Man is his mentor and is like kind of there to help a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're in
That immediate.
It
and
it's okay. You're
uh,
not wrong, but I'm just an Iron Man hater, so.
yeah,
I mean, listen, I The only Iron Man I think I enjoy is MCU Iron Man.
That's understandable.
And Fall of X Iron Man. Because Fall of X Iron Man is basically just MCU Iron Man.
So I'm making a mental note to uninvite you to the MCU discussion in 3 months.
Oh, wah.
All right, you were gonna say something, Sly?
Are we actually doing an MCU discussion?
I mean, I don't know about 3 months, but that's something I would like to do at some point. Probably not after. No, I was gonna say after a Secret Wars, but that's in like 2 years. I don't want to wait that long.
Yeah. Would that also
There's only Secret Wars.
be doing a whole rewatch of the MCU leading up to this discussion?
There's like 25 movies and 10 Disney Plus series, and yeah, sure.
There's like 37 movies.
I hate doing homework to watch movies. James Gunn, if you give me homework for the DCU, I'm taking back every nice thing I ever said about you.
Well, he's already giving us homework with Peacemaker season 2.
No, you're not. Yeah, the Peacemaker's good, so it's not homework.
True. That is true, actually.
Peacemaker
It
season
is
2
good.
is. I was about to say season 2. I haven't watched it yet. Peacemaker is good. So true.
Also, side note,
Like, it's
not
not
related to
homework
this.
if the content's good.
You're not wrong. Also, I'm just glad that James Gunn said that Blue Beetle is in the DCU and not stuck in the DCEU.
Oh yeah. That's something I'm grateful for because I loved Blue Beetle. That was a great movie. Uh,
Same.
I
I'm
also
very
have
much.
to uninvite you to the
Yay.
DCEU discussion in 3 months.
Oh man.
But I like Blue Beetle.
Fair.
I love Blue Beetle.
I like Shazam.
Just because you hate me for being correct.
It's okay. We can argue plenty about Zack
We're-
Snyder's
we're-
movies when we get there.
Words
But,
can't hurt me. These shades are Gucci.
But yeah. So Superman as a whole, like there's just so much to love about this movie. So many great things about it. The characters are great. The standouts are. Was wondering, what's your favorite Superman movie now that you've ranked? Oh, hold up. First, let me go ahead and actually put this on the tier list because it's still down here. We're all in agreement this is S, right?
Yeah, I was about to say like this
Yes.
is honestly is my favorite Superman movie so far.
Okay. So yeah,
Yeah, me too.
out of everything here, my favorite Superman movie. Yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards 25. I might have just a tinge stronger sentiment towards either All Star or versus the Elite. I'm actually gonna bump you there. Yeah. So maybe these two might beat it out a little bit, just because I do think these are like the definition of Superman movies. But this is super close. Also, being in live action just gives it a couple of strengths that the animated movies don't get. For starters, the longer runtime. You know, it's a theatrical movie versus these that were straight to DVD. Um, the bigger budget, bigger effects and stuff like that. So, being live action, it has a lot of strengths that these animated versions wouldn't have. But looking at them just story wise, just story perspective, I might still have All Star and versus the Elite a bit higher up. But Superman 2025 definitely a contender for my favorite Superman movie overall. Like
Definitely.
it's just great. Like okay, so we have our tier list here. Before we finish, I'm gonna go ahead and give each of you an opportunity to pick 3 changes you would like to make. So any 3 that you would like to either move up or down. You can argue where you would put them, and then after you both make your 3 changes, I will consider your arguments. I will consider any arguments made in chat for changes, and then after making those changes, we will have our final list. So, Cuspy, you can go first. Any 3 that you would like to change, and what changes you would like to make.
I would change Man of Steel and put it in D. I would move honestly that's it.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad.
I pretty much agree with the rest of the list. It's just Man of Steel I don't like.
Okay. All right.
Give my other two choices to the Sly Rocker.
Okay. Apparently, you have 5 changes you are allowed to make now. Any 5 you want to move.
Yeah, can you make 5 new tiers and put
As long as
Injustice
it's
on the
not
bottom?
moving Superman 2025, then you're good.
Yeah,
Wait.
just make 5 new tiers and put Injustice at the absolute bottom.
5 new tiers. But
Yeah,
Justice
that
at the
works.
bottom.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that makes sense. Good pick, Sly Rocker. Good pick.
Oh, okay. All right. I know what I need to do. Okay. So, first,
Answer.
all right, gonna make a new one here. I'm gonna title this. That's not how you spell doesn't. That's not how you spell doesn't.
Yeah, that's how you spell my name.
There we go. There we
Listen,
go.
Ballin, when you're right, you're right. When you're wrong, you're wrong.
And then 3 fillers. No, go away. Okay. And then here, we can have injustice. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Perfect.
Now, apparently, that's the tier list these guys are
See
happy
this?
with.
Now this is. Yeah. This is a great tier list.
There we go.
Yeah. Good tier list.
I would say this is the perfect Superman tier list.
We did it.
Wait, I need to make one small change. Ah, no, what did I do? That's not what I want to do. Stop. Go away. I'll just add it before the sad face. There we go.
No, no, that's your opinion.
All right. Okay. So,
Well, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this tier list.
all right. Well, I'll go ahead and
I love how
yeah. Go ahead.
I love how now, because of the extra words you put in the Man of Steel section, the Injustice section gets taken off the screen.
That doesn't scroll anymore. That's fine. I'm gonna save this and then post it on Twitter later. But yeah. So, all right.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts and anything you want to plug about yourself or any content that you do, social media you have, anything like that? Feel free. Go ahead. Cosby, you first.
Who first?
You can go first.
Okay. So, My name is Cuspy. My YouTube name is also Cuspy, except there's a silent P at the beginning. I do video game video essays, and I also do various anime related videos. I'm kind of going through a bit of a renaissance with my content right now. I'll have something new up very very soon, so keep a lookout for that. You should like, comment, and subscribe on all of our stuff because we're all pretty awesome. Even Ballin, even though he likes Man of Steel, but that's okay. Okay, I don't like being petty. I don't like making these bits. Why?
I love how you cut out as soon as you said I don't like being petty. All right. All right, Sly. Any final closing thoughts you have, or anything you want to plug?
I like Superman. Uh, yeah.
Yay!
My name's Sly. I don't really do content creation. I've been maybe considering starting to stream, but I haven't really committed to that idea yet.
Mm.
I have mediocre opinions, and if you want to hear more, follow me on Twitter at Sly the Trainer.
All right. Well, I will go ahead
Oh yeah, I
and
got rid of my Twitter. I nuked my Twitter.
I should do that because last time I posted to Discord on Twitter, we got flooded with bots for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I've been meaning to be more active on Blue Sky. I just forget it exists.
I've been meaning to be more active on Blue Sky, but
Blue
every time I
Sky's
post on Blue Sky, I
superior.
get like 3 likes, and I need the like button to go up to get Happy Chemical.
Yeah.
Convince all your friends to get on Blue Sky.
All right. Well, thank you guys both so much for joining me. Later today, as today that we are streaming this, Sunday, July 27th, we will be reconvening for Fantastic Four, which I still don't know why I thought that was a good idea. There's 4 movies. It's going to be like a half-hour video, but whatever. We're doing it anyways. So catch you guys there for that in a couple of hours. I'm going to go get some food.
All right, bye bye.
Thanks for having me.
This has been fun. Also, let's catch you guys for Fantastic Four and then any future discussions that we do where I believe you will agree with me because apparently you did not agree with me. Well, actually, you guys agreed with me pretty heavily today, so I'll take it. I'll take that win.
Later, Ballin.
All right. How do I? Oh, that's how I end stream.